What do London, Thailand, and Bangladesh all have in common? If you're thinking that they're all in the world, you're correct, but they've also all played a role in slavery. Today, there are more than 30 million people enslaved. That's more than at any other time in history. In the past, many abolitionists have taken steps to end slavery, but it still exists in our world today. It's called modern-day slavery. I'm going to take you on a journey around the world and show you a few abolitionists and the ways that slavery still exists today. Our first stop is in London, which is located in Europe. And William Wilberforce was a social reformer and abolitionist. He became a member of Parliament in 1780 at the age of 21 in Hull, London. He moved to Yorkshire 4 years later in 1784. He was fully devoted to the abolition of the British slave trade. He became a leader of the Society for the Abolition of Slavery and campaigned for almost 20 years to bring an end to the British involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. In 1972, he moved to Clapham, London, to be closer to his work in Westminster, where they made the group the Clapham Sect. They supported anti-slavery abolitionists by making pamphlets, books, and organizing rallies and petitions. His aim was to abolish Britain's involvement in the slave trade by bringing private members' bills before Parliament. In 1807, on March 25th, his goal was achieved, but slavery was not abolished completely. He campaigned for the reformation of manners and fought to improve the lives of the poor, and he was also very passionate about ending child labor. He retired in 1825 due to his ill health condition, but his work wasn't over. On July 26th of 1833, Wilberforce was on his deathbed when he was informed that the Slavery Abolition Bill, granting freedom to all slaves within the British Empire, had been passed by Parliament. Wilberforce not only left a legacy, but he paved the way for abolitionists today who are fighting for the same cause worldwide. Today we call slavery modern-day slavery. It's the notion that one person's life, liberty, and fortune can be under the absolute control of another and be sold, bought, or used at the will of an owner. And according to dictionary.com, slavery is a person entirely under the domination of some influence or person, a person who is the property of and wholly subject to another, or a bondservant. Different forms of modern-day slavery are bonded labor, early and forced marriage, forced labor, slavery by descent, trafficking, and child labor. Our next stop on the map is Thailand, which is located south of China. And trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for the purpose of a commercial sex act. And these sex acts are induced by force, fraud, and coercion. Trafficking includes the transportation of people across the world, and that is how it simultaneously exploits both the best and the worst aspects of globalization. As communication tools and banking laws are relaxed, it's made easier to exchange assets internationally. Virtual enterprises can operate everywhere and nowhere, making themselves known only when and where they choose. Our second stop on the map is Bangladesh, where it's located south of China and northwest of Thailand. Bangladesh is known for forced labor, which according to antislavery.com is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for the labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, debt, or bondage. Forced labor is any work or service which people are forced to do against their will under the threat of some form of punishment. Almost all slavery practices in people are in bonded labor contain certain elements of forced labor. And different areas of forced labor are in agricultural work, construction, manufacturing, prostitution, and market trading. There are more than 20.9 million people in forced labor today. That's 3 in every 1,000 people. So slavery not only existed, but it does exist today. All over the world, modern-day slavery is taking place in many different forms. Wilberforce paved the way for the re-abolition of slavery that is taking place today amidst the biggest slavery crisis of all history. According to Goodreads.com, William Wilberforce once said, "You may choose to look the other way, but you can never say again that you did not know."